Welcome to my podcast. My name is Corrinala. I come to you from the Pacific Northwest where I live with my partner, our 2 kitties, and 2 adopted Mustangs. Information about the Wildhorse adoption program will be in the episode description box. This podcast covers knitting projects, my horsemanship journey, and my other passions like vegetable gardening and bicycling. If you're new here, I hope you find the content interesting. If you're a returning viewer, it's always great to have old friends. The format of this channel typically includes musings on an early walk to the barn to feed the horses, then knitting content, some catch up on the horsemanship journey, and finally more musings or maybe a little bicycling footage if I was lucky enough to get out. Enjoy, and I hope to see you soon. Hey friends, happy Friday. It's March 13th, 2025. It is snowing outside, so I'm glad I don't have to commute today. I commuted twice this week, and I have to say it's really changed the way that I do things. I would say the biggest impacts are on my knitting time because I don't get that early morning knitting on the days that I commute. I can show you some progress on a few projects. It also impacts the time that I feed the horses. So in order to have like a smoothish commute, I get out and feed the horses at 4 a.m. And that's quite a bit earlier than right now, which is about 7:15 when it's now just getting light. So, and then I get home, if I get out of the office, what time did I leave yesterday? I think I left about 3:45 yesterday, and I got home at 5:30. So the way home is significantly more difficult. So here, have a look at the snow here in March. We've had such a dry winter, and this, I feel like this has been typical. Our seasons have sort of shifted forward, if you will, if that makes sense. So we're getting winter in like March and April, and then we're getting spring in May and June, and then summer can be, wow, look at that. Summer can be up through October, although it definitely starts feeling fallish, kind of end of September, but it's weather has been dry that late, and then it seems like we get fall like November, December, and January. So I don't know if that's true or not. It's just, I think outdoors people, whether you're a farmer, an adventurer, or whatever your situation is, turning on the water in the pump house. You tend to notice things like that. So let's catch up, shall we? Last Sunday afternoon when I went out to go feed, Bragi was acting stranger than normal. And, normally he's has some behaviors that I don't particularly understand, but he had definitely been in distress. He was more upset than normal when I took Odin out for just a very short walk. barely took him out of Bragi's view, but he was running around screaming. And then when I came out later, it looked like he was trying to colic. So I called my vet, I called a friend, and she kind of helped assess, and my vet was very helpful on the phone. So he looked like he was all sweaty, and then he looked like he was really kind of tucked up by his flanks, so near his hind legs, which, you know, that's not good. You see the creek? It's beautiful. So, but the sweat had dried, and he was still agitated, but, you know, he wasn't trying to lay down or paw or anything like that. So the vet told me to give him some Banamine, which is a pain reliever. And of course he wouldn't take it. It's a tube, and you have to like squirt it in the mouth, and Bragi is very intolerant of that. So the vet told me to mix it with a little bit of grain, make a mush out of it, and I did that, and he ate that. And I took away his hay just to give his digestive system a rest, and kind of said, well, I'll check one more time, and then good luck. Hope I see you in the morning. And I did. So, hi Bragi, yeah, I'm talking about you. I don't know if you can see it. He's just hard to see. Maybe you can see him when it's snowing though. So he's been okay. I don't feel like his appetite has returned to normal, so I'll see what that's like and when I start feeding, which I'm going to do right now. So let's catch up on the rest of the week and knitting projects shortly. Okay friends, let's do the rest of our catch up, shall we? So as always, start with what I'm wearing. I'm wearing the Neigh sweater by Caitlin Hunter, of course. And this is significant, which I will explain later. I've been wearing it a lot, so it's getting kind of fuzzy and it needs to have a wash, but I'll do that after my camera stops. So after today, let me just say it that way. Sorry, I'm being very cryptic. It's snowing outside. So it's a wonderful day for being cozy and knitting. So I hope you have a project, maybe something nice to drink. I'm still working on my second cup of tea. Kind of a roasty green tea, which I really enjoy. I am also wearing hand knitted socks. These are a pair of the yarn or socks I made out of a thicker yarn that I was complaining about a couple episodes ago, but now that it's snowing and I found a good use for them, like wearing in boots outside, not going to the barn because hay loves yarn and I track it all over the place despite my best efforts. So when I go out to the barn, I wear commercial socks, and those socks just stay in the laundry room until they go in the washing machine. But I can wear these thicker yarn socks like for hiking or on snowy days like today. I can't believe the big fat flakes that are coming down. Why don't I just show you, because you probably didn't get to see it. Here you go. Can you see that? Yeah. Winter wonderland out there in the middle of March. So, but it's supposed to warm up, so it's not serious snow, but this is definitely accumulating a lot more than I was thinking. I mean, I can hear cars drive by on the road, and it sounds like it's pretty wet and maybe slushy. So, but let's get on to the project, shall we? So I kept promising that I would show you the 100-acre wood blanket when I finished the third strip, and I did. This is in a bag made by my mom out of this wonderful horse fabric. The theme today apparently is horses, horses, and horses. So I finished the third strip and started on the fourth. So I think this sweater is supposed to go from left to right. No, well, maybe I am doing it right. Or maybe it's, when I read the pattern last, which was probably last weekend, I felt like I was doing it backwards. Do I care? No, of course not. What is different about this pattern, and it's by K.F. Jones, who some of you know has recently been widowed. Her husband was quite young. He was 50 when he passed from a serious bout of cancer. And it hasn't even been a month yet, but he obviously was seriously ill around Christmas time. And then it sounds like it went pretty fast after that. So this is a mitered square blanket. And what is different about this one is that it's supposed to have a zigzag pattern. And for some reason, my yarn is just wrapped all around this project. And of course it's, reused yarn. So it's got the kind of ramen-y, like ramen noodle curl to it. But I think I have it. So we put down the needle so I can properly show you. So the way that this pattern starts, I think I have 25 long. So let me see if I can slowly drape it. I am pretty certain that this blanket started in this corner, and then it goes up and down and up and down. And a lot of them, they start like from the center and go out, or I think that's a lot of times the way it works. Or it works maybe in a rectangle, and then, but this is, which I suppose you could argue that this is a rectangle. True. But what is supposed to happen, if you follow the pattern, there's like a zigzag. And it looks like it's sort of doing it. So we'll see when I do this fourth strip, whether it is coming out right. So the decreases show this pattern, and it should continue that way so that you get the zigzag effect. If it doesn't work out, I'm not that concerned. I'm having fun with this blanket, and I just knit on it periodically. I started it sometime last year. I don't have my project page pulled up right now, but it's, maybe I don't have it linked. I will link it in the project show notes if you are interested. So it is a paid for pattern that you can order. It started out as a patron only pattern, and then she decided to list it for sale so that anyone could buy it. So, which I think is, it's fine with me. Normally she designs patron only patterns. So if you're at a certain level of support, you get patterns, and they're only for patrons, which I think that's fine. But I also think that it's fine as a patron if I get some access to those free, and if she wants to sell those patterns to everyone else, that's okay too. What else do I have going on? So I'm still working on, as I was saying this morning on the walk to the barn, my knitting time has severely been curtailed because I don't have the morning knitting time at least a couple days a week. And I tend to get quite a lot of knitting done typically, but I am making good progress. This is the sock arms cardigan that has now a pullover. So I think I am about 20 rows away from doing something else. This is in a bag made by my husband, who has an industrial sewing machine. So let me see if I haven't tried it on yet. I think I'll wait till I finish the other 20 rows and then put on the try-on tubing and then see how it fits. And what this is going to do, what I'm envisioning, is putting ribbing so it somewhat overlaps here as if it were a cardigan. The yarn is the colorway Clarity, and it is Knit Picks Gloss, which is, I don't think it's a superwash yarn. So And I'm using a US size 4 needle Chogu red lace. The pattern is by Stephanie Lotven, and it is in this book called Knit Happy with Self-Striping Yarn. And the sleeves and the at least the ribbing around the collar is going to be this colorway by Freckled Whimsey, and it's a self-striping yarn called Jeepers Creepers. So looking forward to that. Excuse me. Even though it's snowing, there's still pollen out. I mean, the trees are blooming. It's very mixed up. And then the other project that I wanted to share with you is in this bag made by my mom. This was a Christmas present. I love this bag because it has the black kitty motifs on it. It's a quilted bag. I think it's quilted. Maybe it's not. Let me look at the inside of this. Nope. It looks like, well, yeah. Mom, you're just going to have to chime in and tell me. But it does look like this white pattern, this white fabric is a separate fabric than the outside. So I am working on the Andrea Mowry Traveler. I was going to do the crew, but I think if I combine the two yarns that I have, I can make the hoodie. And that is fine. Sometimes I wear a hoodie. And it's a good way to use yarn. So here it is. I'm using the recommended needle size, Chogu red lace, size 4. My gauge was a little bit big, so I did some math. But it's a cool pattern. And I'm using 2 different yarns, obviously. Cascade 220, sport weight. So this is obviously a solid color. I don't think they have colorways. They just have numbers. And then the body of the sweater, it's a bottom-up sweater, is this variegated Cascade 220. So it's a lovely squishy yarn. It's merino, which this is merino, so it doesn't hold up that well. It gets very fuzzy. Looks like I have some horse medication. I was talking about trying to give Bragi some Banamine last week, and he wasn't having it, so I got some on me, which is another reason why this needs to be washed. So I am, the pattern is a cropped top, but I think I am going to knit it quite a bit bigger. So I think I'm about halfway with the body. It says stop it when you have 7 inches from the cast on, but I think I am going to have 9 or 10 because you know, I do wear high-waisted jeans a lot, but I just want a slightly more coverage. I like this sweater I'm wearing is a little long. It's kind of falling in my lap a little bit, and I don't need that. And it kind of falls, you know, falls down. Let's see if I can back up enough. It falls down to the mid-hip. I prefer it to be more like at my bottom of my belt line, so like right here. So, which I think with this pattern the sweater I'm wearing, it would have been hard. It would have meant doing the, I think this was a bottom up. I'm pretty sure. So it certainly would have meant doing something differently in the yoke. And, you know, honestly, I don't know what that would be. So, I wear it. I wear it a lot because it's warm and definitely for this time of year, and very comfy. And I love the motif, of course. The other projects that I have are kind of on hold right now. I work on the Purr-fect colorwork socks. Those are the ones with the kitties by Charlotte Stone. I think I'm still working on the ribbing on the second sock. Pretty sure that's where I am. I'm looking at my project or my notes. Still working on Surf Wax socks by Summer Lee. I think I have one sock done. I honestly can't remember. And then I just cast on the Lemontop socks, and those will be going to Texas with us when we leave on Sunday to visit Mom and enjoy some warm weather. I am also taking the traveler. And I think I'm going to take a crochet tee pattern that I talked about either last week or the week before. So that'll be kind of a new cast on. It has been a bit of a tradition of mine to cast on something new whenever we travel, which honestly isn't that often. So it means I will have 3 garments on the needles, plus the blankets, plus the 4 pairs of socks. So, but eventually the projects get finished, and the priority, of course, is the traveler, because that's in a make-along that Andrea Mowry's hosting, and then the other ones will go just as they are fun. I really enjoy the sock arms project because it's very easy knitting, and it's very easy to knit in the evening after I come home from work and I am very tired from the commute. So that's what I'm going to say about that. What else do I want to talk about? Well, this week. So I titled this episode, Changes to My Beloved Schedule, also known as BS, my beloved BS. And it is quite an adjustment, I have to say. So it's adjustment for me, it's adjustment for the horses, it's adjustment for Randy. He has taken over dinner on Tuesdays and Thursdays, which has been really great. He was happy to do it. He's a good cook. So that's nice. And I just need to make sure that I leave the office early enough so that I'm not spending too much time in traffic. Although yesterday, honestly, was awful. Even though it wasn't snowing, it was kind of wet, but yeah, I'm not sure why. It was just so awful yesterday. Garden stuff. I often talk about my gardening plans, but I really think I'm going to have to let it go this year, this summer. I mean, I still have some indoor plants that I'm going to take care of. I have my overwintered kale and chard and stuff that will grow regardless. I will plant potatoes, all the easy stuff. I have asparagus out in the garden. So, but I'm just not going to plant all the pots that I have done. I have garlic growing in most of the pots that I have. I'd like to make a strawberry tower, but maybe not this year. So we'll just see how it goes and see whether the return to office mandate gets changed. Also, the other possibility is I could retire next summer, and I may do that. So then I can garden to my heart's content and do a lot of other things. So just more horse catch up. So that was all the knitting. And if you're here just for the crafting knitting, then thank you for being here, and I hope you find inspiration for your projects. And if you are working on something fun and interesting, and certainly feel free to mention it in the comments. I would love to hear about it. So the horses, Odin is still on a diet. We're maintaining the routine with him because it seems to be working. We're still doing the PT exercises as much as possible, which I have increased his hill walking to 6 minutes. We started out for 5 minutes and did that for a long time, and I ended up having to adjust the steepness of the hills that I was asking him to go on, so he's responding very well to that. And the prescription medication and the supplements seem to be doing well too. I've kind of given up on the stretches because it's hard on my back, and he has good range of motion. So I think it's mostly the supplements and the moving forward, the supplements and the continued, just very slow, deliberate work. Hopefully I'll get to ride him again eventually, and I'll get to that in a little bit, but I don't have a time frame for him. And I do have some goals. I would just like to do some walk trot. It's very easy, the lowest level of dressage that can possibly done. I know he really enjoys cavaletti, and which are very low poles on the ground, or just slightly elevated from the ground. He enjoys doing that, so hopefully we can work up to that. But that's very long term, as in the next year or two. Bragi, so last week we tried the trailer again. So the week before he went on his first trailer ride, and he did really well. It was naturally terrifying to him, but he handled it like a good boy. He put on his big boy pants and waited for instruction to get out, and then he was fine. Let him graze for a little bit so he could let go of it, and then just took him back out to the barn and just did all the easy stuff with him. So last Friday, the goal was to just ask him to get back in the trailer. And it was raining, and Bragi does have a hard time when it's raining. I imagine from his perspective, I mean, all the noises are different. He can't hear for predators as well. For his sake, I wish that he would take more cues from Odin. Odin will look and then go back to whatever he was doing, whether it's resting or eating. If there's food in front of him, he will eat. Bragi, he has to sound all the alarms and go out, and he's like the sentinel out there. And maybe that is why Odin can relax so much, is that Bragi's on top of it. So all that to say, when we went back up to the trailer, he still had a lot of feelings about the week before. But he got in the trailer, he got out. I mean, my trainer just worked with him very slowly at his pace, where he could understand what he needed to do. And, when he starts quaking, and we weren't sure if he was cold or just scared. And I've come to the conclusion that when he's quaking, he's scared. So we just worked with him with that. And when he was too scared, we gave him a break and then just took him back to the barn. Well, he holds on to that tension, and it could be the reason why he colicked. He didn't really colic, but he was just not that well on Sunday, and he has been a little bit off all week. But back to the trailer, just really proud of him that he did it, even though he didn't want to. So that shows the bond of trust that he has with my trainer and even me. And when I say that, it's like he doesn't want to come up to his stall where his food is, but if I ask him to, he will, because he wants to be a good boy and he believes me. So that trust is sacred, and I do everything that I can to not betray that trust. So hopefully we will continue to do that. He is going to go to a groundwork clinic in May, and my trainer offered to do the handling there, because it is, and also contribute to the cost of the clinic. So it's a 3-day clinic where he will get to learn. My trainer will handle him, so she'll get to learn too. And I think I get a really good deal out of it. So I'm super happy about that. It's mid-May, so it's 2 months from now. So it's not going to snow here forever. And, we'll just slowly work with Bragi on continuing to build connection and trust. What else am I doing? Oh, the big news. So last weekend, I was thinking about riding again, and it's like, well, I haven't ridden since last June, when I fell off and dislocated my left shoulder. So and my farrier, who has a number of horses, she offered to let me ride her horses for free, just get out and ride. And I thought about it, and it's like, well, I'm actually terrified of doing that. So what I decided to do is I signed up for 10 riding lessons at Warm Beach Christian Camp, where I have volunteered before. They have a great horsemanship program, and it's really fun. They have a number of horses, so I decided I would sign up, and I got in. They had already started their session. but I think it helps that I had volunteered there for such a long time that they knew my skills and said, okay, yeah, come on in. We'll add you to this session. So I start writing this afternoon, and I'm really excited about it. And that's one of the reasons why I was excited to wear this sweater. It's appropriate, and the breeches that I will wear, I do write English, I kind of match this blue. So I'm really excited about it. I hope it stops snowing, although I see it's not really sticking on the driveway or anything. So that's probably good news. So I've kind of got my woolies on. In preparation for that, I have a wool icebreaker, which is a merino wool product, kind of thinner shirt underneath this, so I will stay fairly warm. And if I do get wet, I won't get too cold. So that's what I am up to. So I look forward to sharing that experience with you next time. Like I said, we are leaving for Texas, so I probably won't have a regular episode next weekend. I will try to vlog some. I won't have any news about Bragi because my trainer's not coming today. I'm just going to work with him on my own. So, that's what I was going to say about Bragi is that so some snow slid off a branch while he was eating breakfast this morning, and he galloped out of his stall, just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, the sky is falling. And Odin, kind of looked up, but then he went back to breakfast. So again, I wish Bragi would take some cues from Odin on that just for his own sake. So I told my trainer about that we were going to have to adjust our expectations. So she said, I don't want him to bring those feelings to the trailer because he was quaking when I went to go out and check on him. And I did ask him to come up and maybe have breakfast. And he came up with me part way, which is totally fair. I mean, I just wanted him to come up one step towards me and then I was going to let it go. But he came up part way and then he stopped and I said, okay, well, you did what I asked. Thank you very much. You're free to go. So he did. He went back to wherever it was that he was feeling more comfortable, and hopefully he'll chew on that for a while. And I'll go out there in another hour or so and maybe try to work with him a little bit on some fun games that he likes to do. He loves to target. When I say target, I mean put his nose on things that I ask him to touch. So like a barrel, a cone, a big lid. I think I've talked about this before. So Megan, my trainer's not going to come today, and I'm just going to work on that. So I won't really have any news about that next week. And I will share some photos and maybe some short video clips of our activities in Texas. And then we get home late next Thursday, and then we leave. We're going up to Vancouver, Canada, to celebrate a friend's birthday, and we're taking the train and spending the night up there. So it'll be a fun weekend for us. So on that note, I bid you a fond farewell. Thank you for being here, and as always, I love to read your comments, and take care, everyone. Bye.